So anyone with a need for attention could break by being surrounded by so many overachieving people that you are constantly overshadowed. Hello friends, welcome to my channel where we talk about facts, theories, and opinions related to the wizarding world of Harry Potter. If you're a Potterhead like me, I would consider subscribing, but if not, that's cool too. My name is Fatma, and today I am talking about the best friend a guy can ask for, Ron Weasley. Let's get into it. Now, I did a video about the evolution of Hermione, and it got me thinking, what about Ron? After all, he is also Harry's best friend. In the fandom, it is often talked about how Ron is done wrong by the movies. He is often overlooked, giving his lines to Hermione, or just not showing the importance of Ron being the bridge for Harry and Hermione, explaining different things about the Wizarding world, since Ron grew up in it and Harry and Hermione didn't. Let me know in the comment section down below what is something that bothered you or something they changed about him. The interesting part to me about all of this is that in the books, Ron's #1 pet peeve is being overlooked, which is something that's done to his character in the movies. He is first overshadowed by his brothers. The first three of them are overachieving, and then you have Fred and George who are always doing these crazy things, so being born the sixth boy isn't great. Then we have the youngest Weasley child, Ginny. Ron could have been the baby of the house, but Mama got the girl that she wanted. Then his best friend turns out to be the most famous boy in the wizarding world, and then we have the girl that he falls in love with. The brightest witch of her age can get any guy she wants, starting with Ron's favorite celebrity, and goes on to become Minister for Magic. So anyone with a need for attention could break by being surrounded by so many overachieving people that you are constantly overshadowed. So at first I wasn't sure what his evolution exactly was, but then I realized it's him getting to a place where he's okay with taking a back seat and realizing that he does not need or want all of that attention. And the last line that we hear from Ron in the books says it all. As Harry's son Albus asks why everyone is staring at them, Ron says, "Don't let it worry you, it's me. I'm extremely famous." At this point in the timeline, Ron has taken a step back from being an Auror. He's working with George on the joke shop. And so his evolution, his true evolution, is really going from having this fear of missing out to living a laid-back, financially comfortable life rather than always fighting to survive in more ways than one. So how did he get to that point? Now, before joining Hogwarts, Ron grew up in the most wholesome family to exist, the Weasley family. But he was sixth of 7 children, and the 7th was his sister, and it is implied that Ginny is the reason the Weasleys kept having kids because Mrs. Weasley really wanted a girl. So he grew up feeling least loved of the kids, which I'm afraid he was, and he grew up in a poor household. Now, there is no reason to pity him, and we don't. All things considered, he had an amazing childhood, and he was a pretty great kid as a result of the top-notch upbringing that he got. He just felt overlooked and wanted more money. So with this in mind, he comes to Hogwarts, and when he looks into the mirror of Erised, what does it show him? He sees himself as head boy, captain of the Quidditch team, winning the house cup. So his deepest desire was being seen, being celebrated, getting that glory that Gryffindor House is so well known for. But if he wanted to outshine everyone around him, he could not have picked worse friends because his 2 best friends constantly outshone him in every way possible. So that's it. That's Ron in a nutshell for you. There is one final thing about Ron which is more innate than everything else. It's his moral fiber that makes Ron. 1-1. Everything else is extrinsic. This is intrinsic. Even in that first year, after the mirror showing him his heart's deepest, most desperate desire, when it comes down to it, he knows what needs to be done and does not hesitate in doing it.
Not me, not Hermione, you.
So we've seen what he's capable of. but it does not mean that he's able to keep those extrinsic factors at bay with ease. We see him struggle throughout the series with those intrusive thoughts, and this is most obvious when he's in fights with his friends. The first 3 years, he's able to channel that energy elsewhere, what with an attempt to kill Harry during the Quidditch match, then an unseen monster, then a dangerous mass murderer after his best friend. So in those first 3 years, he's sort of in reaction mode where he's trying to ensure that Harry remains alive and well. But in the fourth year, there's no clear danger, not to Ron anyway, and so we see those insecurities turn up when Harry's name comes out of the Goblet of Fire. And then again, with Hermione dating the guy Ron has a low-key crush on. But possibly that had more to do with his feelings for Hermione rather than her dating a celebrity. But then at the end of the fourth year, with Voldemort's rise to power, these insecurities are once again pushed back in the following years. And it also helps that he's appointed prefect in his fifth year and wins the Quidditch Cup in his sixth year. However, he is pushed to the very edge when he is wearing the necklace Horcrux. And with his insecurities at peak, even abandons Harry amid the Wizarding War. But of course he returns, and that time away from Harry and Hermione helps him realize yet again that he cannot live without these two overachieving people who are his home. So after the Battle of Hogwarts, Ron joins Harry in becoming an Auror and continues doing away with dark wizards. But I think his true development happens in those 19 years between the end of the war and the epilogue, at which point he's joined George in the joke shop business. See, I think he realizes at some point after the war that the immediate threat that was Voldemort is gone. The wizarding world is fairly at peace, and he can finally stop worrying about keeping Harry alive, which Ron seems to have taken as his responsibility from the moment he stepped into that train compartment. And at this point, he probably also doesn't have to worry about money as much as well. It's just him and Hermione, and they're both working. So he could simply do something he actually enjoys. And given his role in the Visiting War, he would have gotten plenty of glory and fame. So at this point, after having gone through all that, having lost loved ones, he probably realizes that there is so much more to life than all of that. For me personally, Ron has always been and always remained my favorite character. He, to me, is the most relatable, perfectly flawed, and imperfectly heroic character that could be written. Thank you so much for watching this video until the very end. Please subscribe if this content is something you find interesting. It will really help me out. See you next time. Bye for now.